Hi, Nico. Hello.
Hi, kamusta?
Congratulations on being part of St. Denis Medical
Salamat.
Show, episode 4. Talk about being part of a body or mini group of nurses.
It's been great. When they contacted me last season, the first season of Taste Dennis, that it's like we wrote this Filipino nurse character for you. And they mentioned that he was sort of like the Regina George of this Filipino mafia. I was like, oh my God, first of all, finally a Filipino nurse character, a Filipino health worker character. And secondly, I was like, being the Regina George of a Filipino mafia nurse group sounds like something that I would totally be into if I became a nurse. But yeah, I was just really excited to be a part of it. As you know, the creators of St. Dennis, Justin Spitzer, created Superstore. Eric Legend was a writer on Superstore. 90% of the crew working on St. Dennis, some of the cast members, all the background, are all from Superstore. So when I showed up first season on set, it was like a homecoming. It was such sort of like a heartwarming experience of being like, I had worked, this was my family for 6 years. It was just really great to be back and to be, sort of creating art together. Um, and with such a wonderful character, it was so great to be able to do both at the same time, sort of representing my heritage and also like working with my family. It was just a really great work environment.
Yeah, talk about representation also. You were able to talk some Tagalog words, and did you suggest anything to the writer or director to add, like Filipino habits or something?
Yeah, I very much suggested a lot of of the dialogue, the Filipino dialogue. The translations that they use were very especially in the first episode I appeared on last season, it was very malalim na Tagalog. It was really, really deep. And I was like, we don't really talk like this conversationally. So I just, they allowed me to sort of improvise in Tagalog, which is, like unheard of. Um, and I'm just really appreciative that they, like with Superstore and with this show, I've been able to sort of like showcase my heritage and represent our people and that they trust me enough to sort of, like use my own memories of being in the Philippines. Sometimes I feel like my vocabulary isn't up to par because I haven't lived in the Philippines for like 20 years. So I keep hearing of new lingo and new slang that I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that. I should incorporate that next time.
Yeah. So did you bring any Filipino food to share with the cast?
Not the set. Oh my gosh, I was only working a couple of days. I should have. Um, I did get them a coffee truck though, just so we could all be caffeinated. But whenever we've hung out sort of outside of set, like I've definitely like I had Max's for one of my birthdays and invited the people. So they're like, oh, this fried chicken's really good.
Yeah. Did you bond with any cast members?
I mean, all of them. I mean, Kaliko was on Superstore, as you know, so we were really, really great friends. Wendy, I've worked with before and I knew before. Um, but like the rest of them, Alison Tolman and Becky Lipper and Kahim, it was the first time I've been working with them, and they were just lovely and really sort of like allowed me to just play. You never know when you go into a set how the leads, right? And then they were just really had welcomed me with open arms. It was a really great day on set.
Yeah. You were in the Philippines a couple of years ago for a panel discussion for MIFF. So talk
Yeah.
about that experience, and also, did you visit any islands aside from Manila?
Yeah, so being back in the Philippines was incredible. The last time I was back in Manila was 2017 when I was filming Crazy Rich Asians. And before that, it was like 1995 when I had just left for the United States. So a lot has changed obviously since 2017, and it was really great being back. I really, when I was there, I was like, I really shouldn't wait this long to go back to the Philippines. Like it's so wonderful to be there, and I brought my husband with me. And I really was like not sure how he's gonna take it because he's a very type A personality. And I'm like, listen, people don't follow the lanes on the road and the traffic is kind of crazy. Filipinos were just kind of all over the place. It's not gonna be like Singapore where you know, you get a fine for chewing gum or whatever. But my husband loved it, and so we spent some time in Manila. But before that, we were in El Nido. Thankfully, because the Board of Tourism was so generous enough to sort of give us a resort, a vacation in Pangasinan, I think is the name of the resort.
Pangulasyaan.
But yeah, in El Nido, which it was my first. My mom had lived in Palawan, but it was my first time in El Nido, and it was just breathtaking and stunning, and the food, it was just, I kept telling my husband like, wait till we have a mango, a Philippine mango, because it's not what you get here. And I think I ate mangoes like every single day and lanzones, and I was able to show him all these fruits that you can't get in the United States. So it was a really wonderful time, and I hope to be back soon.
Yeah. So, if you had a chance to do a stand-up comedy show in the Philippines, who would you want to have it with?
Oh my goodness. It seems like, I've seen a couple of Filipino comics on Netflix, even. But Rex Navarrete, who performs a lot in the Philippines, is a dear old friend and sort of like, you know, um, he had already had an established career when I was just sort of standing up, and was kind enough to sort of like have me open for him back in the day. And so, he's just incredibly funny and just one of the nicest people out there. So I would love to do a show with him. We did one actually in Manila in 2017.
Oh,
And so I would love to repeat that. But also I would love to sort of meet sort of like the local comedy heroes, like I'm so like I've never met them, but like Vice Ganda,
yeah. Yeah.
to me is incredible that this queer entertainer, non-binary, gender non-conforming, is like one of the biggest stars in the Philippines. And I really just didn't know that was possible when I was growing up. And it's so wonderful to see them sort of really, really thrive and really is beloved by everybody. Yeah, so like maybe someday I'll get to meet them, and that'd be great. Maybe perform with them. That'd be awesome.
Yes. Well, more power to you and congratulations on everything you have done.
Thank you. Salamat, Janet.
Salamat.